Football fans, Brian Sweeney, voice of the Women's Football Alliance National Championship, and the season comes down to the next 2 weeks. This week, after their first loss of the season, the Arlington Impact head west to battle the reigning American Conference champions, the Cali War. And we take a look at the possible playoff structure for the national championships in Canton, Ohio, July 23rd and 24th. This and more on the road to Canton. As always, I am joined by the owner of Football Game Plan, Emory Hunt. Emory, the final 2 weeks of the season and the playoff picture is starting to take shape across the league.
Yeah, the playoffs really start now, and I'm excited to see how these teams end up finishing the season, because this is where you want to play your best ball. And I'm going to be keeping a close eye on defensively what these teams do, because if you can bring a strong defense into the playoffs, you're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, before we talk about this week and the playoffs, the WFA is highlighting a player of the week each week this season. For week 5, we honor Jazz Lummer, running back for the Nevada Storm. In the Storm's game against the Kern County Crusaders, Plummer ran the ball 9 times for a total of 211 yards and 6 touchdowns, helping the Storm to a 48-0 victory. Plummer and the Storm, now 5-0, close out the regular season as they travel to play the 1-2 Portland Fighting Shockwave.
After making the Division I national championship in both 2018 and 2019, losing both games to the Boston Renegades, Cali War is looking to make it again for a third time and hoping that a third time is a charm. Recently, Bryant spoke with Tee Singleton and Lanika Manning about 2018 and 2019 and what work they're putting in to make sure that they can not only get back to the national championship, but this time win it all.
All right, so I'm here today with a couple of the newest members of the Cali War. I have T and Neek Fresh, that she likes to go by. And I appreciate you both spending time with me today to discuss the 2021 season. Thank you both.
Awesome. No problem for having us.
So now, obviously, the goal of the Cali War this year is to get back to the national championship July 23rd and 24th in Canton, Ohio. And both in 2018 and 2019, unfortunately, they made it the national championship game, but they lost both times to the Boston Renegades. Now, you both have previous experience, and so it's going to be up to you to get the team that elusive championship this year. I mean, T, what's a little bit of your background? What can you bring to the team this year?
For me, it's just being that dominant running back. From what I've heard in the past, it was just they had a running back core. It just wasn't. It wasn't as successful as they wanted to be. So that's my main goal here, is to just, power through and be able to get those extra yards whenever we need them.
And then Neek, yourself, what's your big role this year?
For me, being a veteran, and we have a lot of rookies this year, just trying to be a leader, leading by example, just making sure that we all are on the same cohesiveness as a team, so that we can to face these challenges and be able to be successful.
Sure. Now, you're both on the offense, correct?
Yeah, I'm a wide receiver, actually. I play inside and out. Wide receiver, pretty much.
You would think I was a wide receiver, but no, I got hands like a wide receiver, but I'm definitely pure running back.
So you've got those leg muscles that can power through a defensive line, and they try to tackle you, and you spin to the left, spin to the right, and get through that. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, my goal is to always not be tackled by a single person. I always want to be tackled by multiple people. That lets me know, okay, I'm doing something, I'm getting the extra yards.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned getting those extra yards. I mean, do you know your average this season? Are you getting those yards that you're requesting or that you're going for?
So for me, I haven't really gotten to that point yet. I had a setback at the beginning of the season. So I'm slowly getting back to it, but I would say about 6 or 7 yards is always the goal.
6 or 7 yards is a very successful goal, because if you can pick that up on first down or second down, makes that third down conversion that much shorter, gets your team the first down. And now, Neek, as a receiver, I mean, are you more of a crossing route? Are you the long ball receiver? What do you bring to the team?
Basically, I bring everything. I can go short, I can go long. I love to block as a receiver. You know, as much as I love to catch, I actually love to deplete people a lot as well. So, you know, I'm doing everything out there and on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm just trying to just make sure that all of our receivers are playing aggressive. We know what's going on. We're aware on the field, and we are basically executing the plan that coach puts for us out there. So, you know.
I can definitely piggyback off that, because she's been one of my blockers for the last 2-3 games, and I've gotten the yards.
And that's one thing I've noticed this year that I hadn't really seen in the past, is how much more the receivers are blocking for the running backs. I mean, I've seen that in the Vixen game. I've seen that in the Boston game. Obviously in the Cali War game where y'all play and stuff. So, I mean, when you're at practice now, Neek, I mean, are the coaches teaching that new this year? Because you really didn't see as much of that in prior years.
Well, yeah, the coaches basically in the beginning of the season had a heart-to-heart with us and just told us that it's going to take aggression. It's going to take us basically our will, imposing our will against the other team. And so we came together, you know, after the Reno game, and we just said that we're going to play for each other, and we're going to bring the fight before they bring the fight. We're going to bring the fight to the line of scrimmage. So as a receiver, yes, our job is to catch the ball, but we think as a DB, as a receiver, these receivers on the Cal War, Angel, now. So yeah, we're very aggressive. We have to just go get it, and that's our mindset.
And for me, honestly, the wide receivers blocking in my previous teams, I've always had another running back, so it was always a 2-back set. But having faster receivers out there that can block for you, it's a game changer, and I think that more teams are picking up on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would agree with that entirely. So now you both have sports backgrounds prior to football, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And what were those sports that you played?
So I started off with basketball. Funny thing is, I ran track too. I had more track scholarships than I did basketball. After I got done playing basketball in college, I went to Missouri Southern, and then I went and played overseas in Czech Republic. And then I came back to the States.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, kind of similar. You know, I came up in track first. I was a hurdler, All-American hurdling and long jump. And then from there, I started playing basketball as well in high school. And that became my passion. And I went to Cal State Northridge. I hurt my knee, so I focused on my education. I'm a social worker, so I just focused on that and fell in love with the game of football. So I try to use my basketball skills, crossovers out there in the game, and on the field. So, it's a blessing.
So as a hurdler, are there times that you're leaping over those tacklers when they're getting ready to take you down if they're going too low?
You got to do whatever you got to do. If you've seen Derrick Henry, he's out there. So you got to kind of mimic those type of players, and you utilize those athletic abilities that we still have because we played those different sports. Just give some props to T. This week she did her famous hip hop step out there on the amazing. It's just really amazing to be able to bring another aspect to the game from another sport. And a lot of these girls, I have to speak highly on our receiver corps. They're very athletic, and we have a lot of rookies on our team, but we also have a mixture of veterans as well. So it kind of levels everything out, and it's amazing. We've been playing dynamic football right now, and as far as us just as a team, I know in some of our games it hasn't displayed that, but trust and believe it's coming.
Now, T, you told me before we started the interview that this is a commutable job for you. You're not local to California or even the West Coast for that matter.
No. So usually I fly in on Friday night, sometimes Thursday, and then I stay with Nick up until Sunday. I'm 2 hours ahead of you. I'm 2 hours ahead. So everything is, when I go back and forth, it's kind of like, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Like when I first came there, like I said, they welcomed me with open arms. Like anything I needed, they took care of me. So, I mean, like I said, it's definitely worth it. And I'm originally from New Orleans. I just live in Kansas City now. But that would be a hard commute going from New Orleans all the way to Cali. But I'm glad I'm in KC and I can, fly where I can fly.
So with that said, I mean, what about practices? You obviously have to review a lot more game film than the rest of the team because you don't have the opportunity necessarily to run through the drills at practice a couple times a week. What are you doing to prepare yourself for the games?
So for me, it's like Zooms. It's a lot of Zoom. Like I'll look up like different defensive schemes on YouTube and just read through that. But I also have a running backs coach here. Coach Ocho, she's the one who basically got me to where I am today. So like anytime I have a question, I can call her. Anytime I need to, somebody to come throw to me or just to get some reps, I can always call her and she'll be like, all right, let's go here.
Amazing.
So it's good to have, that running backs coach because everybody doesn't have that.
Sure. So what are you two going to bring to the championship game this year if you get there that Cali hasn't been able to when you get there that Cali hasn't been able to bring the last couple times that they've made it?
I think just to piggyback off of what T said as far as us, it's a very unique type of setup how we have as our team. A lot of the girls that are not stationed in California, they do their workouts from the Zoom and they have their own personal workout plan. Everybody is working out. And I think that's what we've done that's different from the other years is that we've committed to each other to make sure that we do work out. And the ladies that are here in California, we do meet and we work out and we run our plays. We do have our other quarterback here. So we're able to utilize that. So we do have that. It's a kind of unique thing that we do. And then we get together with our coaches and he goes over the film, he goes over our plays. So everything is very systematic and repetitive as far as going over film and plays to the fact that we get in. Then when we get there, pregame, we go over our plays and everything. So I think just having that team cohesiveness, everybody just giving in, all in type of mentality. I think that's what's going to make us a difference maker going into the playoffs and trying to go to that national title and win it and bring it back to California. We just committed. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So now this weekend you have Arlington Impact. That's the national game of the week. You probably just watched Minnesota Vixen and how successful they were against the Impact. Have you watched that broadcast? Have you analyzed it to see where Minnesota was successful so that you all know what you need to do to have that same success?
Yep.
Yes. Our coach on us. He's been on us like night and day on making sure that we do our job. And our job right now is just to, dissect and that's what we've been doing. We've dissected that Minnesota Vixen film and all the other film that we've had accessible to us with Arlington. And with our preparation, we feel that we're ready to go.
Now,
don't get me wrong, good team. They're a good team. They have good coaching staff, but we're going to be ready to go. And I just want to let the public know that it will be a good game against two opponents. And I'm just excited.
Right. Now, one thing that you're going to have in your favor going into the playoffs is you're either going to have Arlington coming back for the second time in 3 weeks, or you're going to have Dallas flying out a week after they were just in Minnesota. So, as of right now, you're going to have a team flying 2 time zones difference to meet up that first weekend. Do you have a preference? Would you rather see Arlington back to back, or would you rather see Arlington than Dallas?
I would much rather see Arlington than Dallas, just because 2019 I played against Arlington. They are a very aggressive team. So I'm going to need this Mack truck to, get some recovery in between there.
Yeah. No.
Well, great. I mean, anything else you want to add to this season? Anything? I mean, obviously you want to get the ring. You want to make it to Canton behind me there, and you want to play on that field in front of everybody. What else? And any special plays you've come up with to get there? I mean, we got some juice. We can't tell you the secret stuff. We got some juice.
We got the secret stuff. Let me take a sip. We got the secret stuff.
All jokes aside, T is right. We're really excited. Actually, she's one of our secret weapons, to tell you the truth. Really excited about the run game that we have. Again, we have some rookies, but again, I think with the veterans and the rookies together in our run game, T is an asset to this team. Her running ability is unique, and we're looking forward for that to take us to the championship as winners the ring. So we're really excited. Also, we have Miss King. She's a dynamic receiver. We're looking forward to her to come back and just tear up. She loves those routes, and she's so small, no one can really tackle her. So we're ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're humble. We're ready to play anybody at this point. Like I said, after the Reno game, we came together as a team. The coach brought us together. Coach King, Coach Quinn brought us together. And they just basically let us know, hey, it's our destiny. What we do now is determine on how hard we go and how much we put in. And so we all committed. We're putting everything in,
I think that Reno game was definitely, it was an eye opener for us. It was something that we needed. It's not, we didn't get the outcome that we wanted, but it was definitely something that we needed. And my whole thing is, when I addressed the team, I said, we got 24 hours to digest this loss. You handle success like you handle failure, and then you move forward. So right now, our main focus is going to be Arlington, and then whoever comes after that.
Well, I thank you both for your time. I really appreciate talking to both of you. Hopefully, I'll get to see you on that field behind me in just about a month. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Honor. Thank you.
This week's Game of the Week features 4-1 Cali War hosting the Arlington Impact. Prior to Minnesota's trip to Texas last weekend, the Impact were a perfect 4-0. Now, with their last regular season matchup coming against last year's American Conference champions, the Impact look to head into the playoffs with a win.
Yeah, I'm looking at how Arlington has played all season long. They've been impressive. Every week we've talked about them on the show, or when we have talked about them on the show, it's almost like, okay, let's take a wait and see. Maybe like last week wasn't what we thought it was, but they just consistently put out great product. They win games. They are playing well on both sides of the ball. And when we look at Cali War, they just do a great job of just maximizing their talent. I think they're really good in the backfield with Tee Singleton. They have depth at quarterback. They can really throw two quarterbacks at you if need be. So they do a lot of things really well. So I'm excited to see how this game ends up.
I mean, over the weekend, we had a chance to see the playoff structure for 2021. For Division 2 and 3, the structure is mostly straightforward. However, for Division 1, where each team will make the playoffs this season, we can say that Boston at 4-0 should start the playoffs with the bye before hosting the winner of the 5-0 Tampa and 1-2 DC Divas first-round playoff game. On the other end of the bracket, 4-1 Cali War will either see a second matchup within 3 weeks with 4-1 Arlington, or their first look at the 2-2 Dallas Elite Mustangs. The 4-0 Minnesota Vixen will then receive the visit from the other Texas Division I team in the first round. As of now, the conference championships would run through Minnesota and Boston. Emory, your thoughts on the structure and who we could see in Canton?
Well, I love the structure. It's straightforward. It's easy to understand, and teams quickly can see what they have to do to get to where they need to be, which is Canton, Ohio. I'm keeping an eye on DC. I know they suffered a major injury at some point in the season. I just want to see how that team responds once they get into the postseason. But that Division I postseason structure is just phenomenal. Everyone gets in, but this is a really good field of teams that we're going to see play. And I'm always interested to see which rematch we could potentially see down the line. Cali War, Arlington rematch is definitely on the table, or could be on the table. So it's always interesting to see what rematches you get. But I'm interested to see how DC does in the playoffs, considering what happened to them earlier in the year. DC is one of those teams you don't want to count out.
Yeah, so now if Arlington, would you rather make the trip to Minnesota for a chance at a revenge game, considering they were handed their first loss season, or would you rather go back to Cali War for that first round of the playoffs?
Either rematch game is going to be a unique matchup, and that's the thing with rematch games. No one game is the same because you're going to go back and find out what worked and try to hide those things later in the game until need be. We used to call these grab bag games. Because you want to throw different things at them in the first quarter, at the beginning of the second half. So no matter if it's Minnesota or Cali War, you want to find out, okay, how do we play against them the first matchup? What can we do in the second matchup differently? And how can we execute that game plan on a short week? Because if they go to Minnesota, they're going to have to travel to Minnesota. And that's going to be a big difference versus Minnesota, who could just sit there and kind of see who comes to them and adjust accordingly. So it always favors the home team in this situation, in my opinion. But rematch games are always about adjustments and always about, what tinkers you can make that won't kind of yield the same results, good or bad, from the first matchup.
Yeah, in Minnesota, they're known for hosting conference championships games before going to the national championships. They've never had to play one of these games on the road, and I think that would greatly play into their favor if they have an opportunity to host a conference championship. Same holds true for Cali War. I mean, they're always hosting these conference championship games as well. So no matter which team, between the Dallas team or the Arlington team, they're going to have a lot of work ahead of them. And then at the end of that, say Dallas wins, they have to travel to Minnesota. Say Cali War wins, they have to travel to Minnesota. Do you think that's going to play into it at all?
No, not really. Arlington will be another team that I wouldn't want to play in the playoffs, considering what we just talked about earlier in the show, how well they've been each and every week, even in a loss. So that's someone I think that's playing good football going into the postseason. And it doesn't matter if they play in Minnesota, if they play in Spain, they're going to bring the same type of intensity on both sides of the ball, which is key going into the playoffs.
Yeah, there's only 2 weeks left of the regular season, and we will get to see all 4 teams on the left side of the Division I bracket still on Games of the Week. Follow For the Fans HQ on Twitter and Instagram. Find out where you can watch the impact at Cali War. And remember to follow the Women's Football Alliance on all social media platforms. Tickets are available to the National Championship Week, July 23rd and 24th in Canton, Ohio, by heading to www.hofvillage.com and clicking on events. Emory Hunt, I'm Brian Sweeney, and we'll see you next week on the road to Canton.